Hey everybody. Well, I am not dead like so many thought I was. I am still alive and kicking and just kind of coming out of somewhat of a hibernation. Or maybe a temporary retirement, let's put it that way. The reason for no videos, no event coverage other than the two flying events that I have from the summer, is because I haven't been doing anything. Um, the way Brandon's got our country running right now, everything is extremely expensive, and I'm not making any more money. Therefore, I'm making less money. So, I know I'm in the same boat as everybody else, but needless to say, haven't had the interest in spending that extra money on gas, so I've spent more time in the basement. Anyways, before I drive myself insane talking about that crap, what have we here? This is a very classic sport model called a Prime Stick. This was a pretty popular kit back in the late 80s, early 90s, and I always thought it was a Dick Sarpolis design, but and it may have been. It was kitted by RC Sports out of Carmel, Indiana, and I was able to find a set of plans through AMA, and I've had the plans for a while, um, and just finally getting around to building it. Like I said, because I'm basically heading into poverty because that's what I'm being forced into. Building a big fancy, Warbird or something with retracts and all the bells and whistles is not going to be able to happen for a while. So I decided to stick with something simple, but yet still big and impressive. So this is, as I said, built from scratch from a set of plans. See, there they are. And the plans are not detailed to the point for scratch building. In other words, you have a side view and top view of the fuselage. Now, because it is a square, boxy design, by just taking measurements from the top and the side view, that gives the dimensions for the fuselage formers. So scratch building the fuselage and tail was no big deal. The wing, on the other hand, is basically my own design. Um, the only thing you get on the plans is the airfoil. That's all you get because the kit was supplied with a foam wing, and I didn't feel like getting a foam wing cut. And by the time I would have that done for me, or cutting it myself, whatever the case may be, I could have built this wing 3 times. So all I did for building the wing is take that airfoil outline, shrink it down to accommodate for the thickness of the sheeting, cut all the ribs, and then just figuring out where I wanted to put my main top and bottom spars, and I went with trailing edge sub spars. You can see them back in there. So very simple, just traditional construction. Wing was completely sheeted and cap stripped. Ailerons were then cut out of the wing, and then you can see from the side they were faced, and reinforcement blocks put on the inside of the wing for the hinges. So very simple. You get a nice straight wing that way, nice straight ailerons, and everything turns out good. So many are probably looking at this going, man, that kind of looks like a Stinger. Well, it's the same concept, except this is an even more simplified version of a Stinger. I love the Lanier Stinger. I scratch built one years ago. In fact, I used the same rib layout on this airplane as I did the Stinger, because all I did to scratch build a wing and design it, all I did on the building board was had a straight reference line, which is where my spars go, and then 90 degrees off that, mark the locations where I want my ribs, and build the wing. Pretty simple, actually. The main differences, besides everything, just comparing this to a Stinger, is the Stinger had more of a mid-wing slash shoulder wing. It was a lot higher up on the fuselage. And of course, the Stinger had a turtle deck, a nice canopy, and that big, beautiful cowl that stuck off the front. This one here does not have a cowl. It doesn't even have cheeks. You see those lines in there? That's where the firewall goes. So all you have out in the front is the engine. And it was intended to have like the Zenoa 45 or a G38. So a nice big old school heavy engine. So I'm not going to go that route because I want to keep it as light as I can, which is actually going to backfire because I'm going to have to add a ton of weight to the nose to compensate for the lightweight engine that I'm going to put on it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with the RCGF Stinger 40 Twin. Because if you're going to have just a big engine up here out in the open, it might as well be something pretty. So what's prettier than a nice twin? I know, probably a radial, but no. Too much money for something like this. The landing gear I found on Amazon. They're carbon fiber gear. I don't like carbon fiber, so I will be layering some fiberglass on this gear just to kind of stiffen them up and make them a little heavier because I don't like how soft they are. But they were only like $30 on Amazon. And the biggest thing was to find a set of gear that had the right distance here where it mounts to the fuselage. And as you can see here, they fit very well. And the wheel pants I just stuck on the workbench to see what it would look like with wheel pants. And yeah, it's going to have wheel pants. Not those. Those are for something else, but it's definitely going to have wheel pants. And it's pretty much to the point of covering. In fact, in my traditional habits, I've already started covering just to kind of get that sense of completion. For those familiar with the world famous Steve Stricker from years ago, he's still around flying, but he was a TOC competitor for a long time, and he had some very simple yet unique color schemes on his planes. And I'm going to do something similar to this, where it's real simple, but it's going to look pretty. Typically, especially in today's methods of building, you would usually put a servo for the elevator and rudder in the back. But because I've already known this is going to need some weight up in the nose, I wanted to keep the servos up here right by the CG. So I'm using the Sullivan giant scale Nyrods, which are bulletproof. Them things are freaking strong. So I'm using that so I can keep that weight up toward the front. Other than that, it's been a very, very simple, very basic build. In videos from the past, I had mentioned how to make, come on, focus now, how to make the wing blend into the fuselage really good. And you can see where the epoxy and micro balloons is there on the wing saddle, and it makes just a perfect fit to the wing. I mean, look at that. No gaps, no nothing. I still have to make, I don't know if you want to call it a belly pan, but it's a piece that's got to go onto the wing here to blend it into the fuselage, and the same for the front. And I need to seal up the trailing edges as well. So there's still quite a bit of finish work to do. Come on, focus. This thing is terrible. There we go. This was supposed to be a winter project, and I started it about a month ago, and right now it's, what is it? October 21st, and yeah, it's almost done. So I really need to slow down a little bit. But it's been such an easy, simple build. It's just gone very well. But yeah, I'm digging it. I haven't seen one of these airplanes in decades. In fact, the last time I saw one, my dad and I went to a giant scale fun fly. Oh, this would have been early 90s. And I remember seeing a couple of them there. And I think I know what kind of stuck out is look at the tail. It doesn't look like a Stinger because of the shape. But what does that look like? What does that remind you of? Anybody? I'll show you what it reminds me of. That tail is almost the same overall shape and layout as the tail section on a Great Plains Trainer 60. So that was probably one of the main reasons I liked the airplane so much, because it had the looks of a Stinger. It had the looks of the old Snapdragon from RCM plans. You know, the same kind of tail design as a Trainer 60. It's just a cool looking airplane. And it should fly fantastic. But anyway, just wanted to show you what's going on there. I don't know why I haven't done any videos so far. Just haven't been feeling it. Adjusting for the current times we're living in has not been an easy adjustment for me. So it's kind of killed the mood for just about everything. But I have gotten a new piece to the collection here. It might be hard to see because of the light. I wonder if I can get a better angle of that down here. Yeah, there we go. So I got an old Ace 460 biplane. Got the wings up there. Bought this from a friend of mine, a local flyer up at Cards. It's got a Sato 80 in it. Flies really well. Really good flying airplane. Attractive price. It's classic. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So I got that dialed in. That's flying well. I finally stopped dicking around with old wore-out engines on the Easy Chipmunk 25. And just a couple days ago, stuck a 25FX in there. Got the cowl mounted, so that's ready to go. That's finally, I guess I could call it complete, because I've been struggling with this airplane for quite some time. In fact, this year I spent more time dialing in some old school sport planes. So finally those are on they're on track. Now, before somebody asks, yes, that is the wing for a GB. No, it is not mine. Typically, I do not take on projects for people anymore, repairs and or building. The only reason I took on this project, and I guess let me indulge into it a little bit, as most of us know, GBs will make terrible pilots out of good pilots. And this one was no exception. This belongs to a buddy of mine up at the Cards Field. And after a number of successful flights, coming in for a routine landing, and it pulled a GB. It fell out of the sky. And he wasn't sure why. He knows he didn't stall, and it did a typical GB landing. And the main damage was this gear got pushed through the wing, so I had to cut some of the covering off, get the mounts resecured, reinforce, blend everything back in with some new covering. That was good to go. But the main thing, and the main reason I took on this project, is the wheel pants were just crushed. They were crushed. They were in one solid piece, but the fiberglass was just completely just smushed. And I keep repeating myself. The reason I took on this project, not only because I knew it wasn't going to take me very long, is I've been experimenting with some different paints. So it gave me something to experiment with. And I won't go into detail what kind of paint I used just yet, but it's the same paint that I put on the landing gear for the Husky, and hopefully I'll be using for the fuselage on the Husky. So just doing some experimentation. And that's pretty much where we're at. This next couple days is supposed to be really nice. In fact, I took yesterday and today off work, hoping that the weather would be better as far as wind, because I wanted to get some flying in. Got some 2 classic beauties from my collection that haven't flown in a couple years. I want to get these flown before I hang them back up. Hopefully that'll happen. We're supposed to be in the mid-70s this weekend, so hopefully the wind will cooperate. It's not looking like it's going to, but you never know. We might get lucky. So, that is where we are at. Just wanted to give you a little update. If I am in the mood, I might do some more videos. As much as I hate to say it, I'm not going to say the videos are going to go away, but taking a break from them kind of made me not miss doing it. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You never know. I keep getting a lot of comments on older videos. People saying, where are you at? Where's your new videos at? I need something to watch this winter. So I probably should make some more videos just for that specific reason. But I got to do it because I want to do it. So that's where we're at, folks. Maybe once I get some more work done on it and get some covering on it, I'll bring you back. No promises. Later.